Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning and warm welcomes to our webinar for SME Financing Repayment Assistance. This webinar is organized by the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, NCCIM, and supported by 5 chamber and 3 FI associations. The 5 chamber are the Associated Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, Malay Chamber of Commerce Malaysia, and then Malaysian Associated Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Malaysia, Malaysia International Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Federations of Malaysia Manufacturers, the Associations of Bank in Malaysia, AIBIM, Associations of Islamic Banking and Financial Institutions Malaysia, Associations of Development Financial Institutions Malaysia. I am LL Kong, the National Council Member, Chairman of SME of ACCCIM. It is my pleasure to be the moderator this morning of these wonderful sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, on 25th of March 2020, our Prime Minister announced a 6-month auto loan moratoriums repayments for all the bank loans commenced from the 1st April 2020 to 30th September. Actually, it's to relieve the burden of the businesses and the individual. And then the Prime Minister announced again on the 29th of July 2020. This announcement is to have a further 3-month moratorium extensions for the targeted borrower. It is recognized that all the parties do need to survive, either the banker or the businesses. And then they also need to have an eye on their futures. So this is a tricky balance to be balanced. So with this tricky balance, with us this morning, let me introduce to you the panelists from today from the AIBIM and then AIBIM and ADFIM. The first one on my left-hand side and on my far right, Mr. Anand Sharif, Head of SME Banking, Maybank, and then Mr. Andy on the far left over here, Andy Yo, Head of Sales and Business Development, Hong Leong Bank, and then Mr. Yip Hao Nang, Head of SME Banking, RHB Group. On my left over here, Mr. Abdul Karim Ahmad, Head of Asset Quality Management, SME Bank. Let us begin with the issue. A lot of issues have been posed to the whatever media and then this webinar. Let us go through a lot of issues over here this morning with this webinar. Let's say the first issue which our members have posted, which I received, they mentioned about this. My business was badly affected in the COVID-19, but the operations completely stopped during the MCO. That means during the March, April, completely stopped. That means no sales, no cash flow. However, my business recovered slowly during the open up in the month of May. We still remember, I think it's the 4th of May, and then back to normal until today, But it's not quite normal. Then they called up this particular member, called up the bank, and then asked for the further extensions for the moratorium. Then the bank seems that it's a rejection mood of the application. Why? The reason being that the bank explained, because you have no business during the MCO, but your business has been recovered slowly during the month of May, then June, and July, But now, he said, since you recovered a little bit, I think you should not apply for these extensions of moratorium. This extension of moratorium to give it to some who need it, So I think this is a fair question or not a fair question from the banker or answer from the banker. I wish the bankers over here to answer. I think I may ask one of our banker. I think I see Mr. Anand keep on nod the head, Why not Mr. Anand from the Maybank? You would like to clarify this clear account, please.
Thank you, Mr. Kong. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to everybody. I think none of us experienced such a pandemic. Yeah, it was a very tough time, and even when the SMEs started the business, it won't be the same as the previous day. Yeah. So back to the issues that was highlighted by Mr. Kong. You started a business and you are expecting another a moratorium previously or a holiday payment, yeah, the extension of the holiday payment. So this depends on credit. This depends on the how do we ensure that the SMEs will continue to survive. So let us put in this way: the banks need the SMEs, and the SMEs is a very important structure in the country, yeah, to continue to support the GDP. So I won't be able to answer you, Mr. Kong, directly, yes or no. Yeah, actually it depends on the suitability of the SMEs and also the credit or the assessment of the bank. Yeah, but then by logic, yeah, assuming that you have stopped business for 3 months, yeah, so previously your turnover is 100,000, and when you started, maybe your turnover a month it will be 20-30,000 a month. Yeah, so you need that cash flow to continue surviving. Okay, so if you are expected to pay your monthly installment of 20-30,000 a month, how do you continue your business? Yeah, so I think that will give you some clue. Yeah, what is the best solution for this type of SMEs? I won't be able to answer you yes or no, but this will determine what will be the best solution to ensure that the SME will continue to survive. Because if the SME fail, then the bank will also fail. Thank you, Mr. Kong.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Anand. You mentioned a lot just now the word SME. I think I would like SME bank to answer. You say you cannot answer directly. Let the SME bank answer directly to the businesses. See what will you do in this respect? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kong. Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Okay. The fact that the businesses was interrupted, yeah, during the period of March until May, for example, what was implemented by the government, there were various programs being implemented, and the spirit of the government is to revive the economy, which SMEs played an important role. I think the government has introduced special relief facility for the financing. Now, probably, if I can pinpoint to the question of, you know, the incidents where particular SME asking for additional moratorium, it is not actually moratorium anymore. It has to go into a mode of, for SME bank, or probably for most of the bank phone, we are looking at restructuring the whole financing altogether. Why? The question just now, they want to ask for additional moratorium, actually cannot. It cannot be done in a short way, macam the first 6 months bank negara automatic moratorium. Because during that 6 months, you still have that 6 monthly installments, to put it simply, which is due to the bank. But if you're asking for more, that is a time where we should come in and look at your cash flow, look at your business projection going forward, and repackage the whole financing in a way altogether, and probably by giving in additional financing tenure, which is again back to what Janan mentioned just now. We really have to look on case-to-case basis with regards to the business sustainability going forward.
Okay, thanks a lot. It seems that I think the businesses need to contact the bank and then to ask them for the restructuring. You mentioned case-to-case basis, you know. I think businesses now is afraid case-to-case. How is the case-to-case, you know? I think I would like to go for the second issue. This second pertinent issue is quite interesting. There's one SME member, they call the bank. When they call the bank say, well, you want to apply for this extension, the moratorium, you need to fill up the form. You need to fill up the form. But when they look at the form, a lot of things to fill up. Then the SME mentioned, I am not applying for the new loan. But the bank said, you got to fill up the form, plus the question A. And another interesting is, they say, fill up this form and the question A is okay, but you still want me to fill up a writing, a write-up, how my business being affected by the COVID-19, the impact, So I think this quite, to the businessman, they say, it's quite a lot of things to do, So I would like to call, is it the bank practice to ask the businesses to mention about COVID-19 impact, to write some articles, some things like that, I think you are smiling. So you may want to answer. I think maybe we'll ask Mr. Andy from Hong Leong Bank, to answer this one. Is it what you practice? You want businesses to do such a thing?
Thank you, Mr. Kong. Good morning, all. I think we don't require the SME customers to write in a big essay or long essay. Now, for all the banks, I think it's our mandate to help the SME customers to revive from this COVID-19 impact. So we want to help the SME customers as much as we can. And I believe most of the bank has implemented a very seamless, convenient way of applying this financial relief. Now, for instance, at my own bank, Hong Leong, we launched the online application about a month ago, and we want to let the customers to have a very easy and convenient experience in getting the papers through. Oh, okay. So in terms of documentation, the minimum document is just the bank statement and the aging reports. Now, if you have the latest audit report or the latest management account, that would be good, but that is not mandatory. So after that, we will help you to put it through, assess the case, and submit for approval. So I believe all the banks are doing the same thing. In the previous BNN engagement, I think most of the banks are committed to help as many as SME customers to go through this crisis.
You mentioned all the bank doing the same. Then I asked one of the first speaker just now, the panelist, Mr. Anand, because I would like to add, this member, another sentence, he told us that when they asked the bank for extension, after say filling up all this form, the bank say, you please don't call us, let us call you. But wait for a few days, no call. So I would like Mr. Anand from Maybank, I think you may want to answer, is it as all the bank having the same forms for this SME? Yeah, in respect of this, please.
Thank you, Mr. Kung. Before I answer to your questions, I want to share a bit on the process, what the banker did, for the past 2-3 months, I believe, 2 months, maybe. So actually, most of the bank, we have started calling the SMEs. We wanted to get some idea what are their challenges, how long they will come back, on the business, whether they are able. In fact, some of us, we also did some SurveyMonkey, to trying to understand the challenges of the SMEs. And in one of the things that we have done in Maybank, I think we have contacted a few thousands of customers just to get their feedback. And I think about 30% of them, they are interested in the repayment assistance. Okay, so I think that is aligned with the SurveyMonkey that we did. But then, so far until today, from the 30% interested, only 10%. Only 10% from the 30% came in with the document. So I think this question that you passed to Andy is very relevant. Is it the document that hinder you to come to the bank? So are you unsure of what are the documents, or are you very worried that the bank won't be attending to you? So maybe these are some of the things that maybe I can help to clarify. First, on the forms or the documentation, Of course, when we talk about the documentation, the basic documentation, it will be a bank statement, okay? And then assuming your bank statement is still not there, yeah, your bank statement is dropped by 80-90%. So how do you tell the bank, or how do you prove to the bank that you are able? Okay, so maybe next we go to other income, yeah, such as rental income. Maybe you have property somewhere that you rent it out, that you can continue to get some revenue every month. Assuming you don't have rental, then maybe we go into the sponsors wealth. Yeah, for example, when I say sponsor, it will be the director or the shareholder. Yeah, or if it is a partnership, maybe the partner, or is it the sole proprietor. Then maybe we go into the fixed deposit, or maybe we go into ASB, or any investment that is liquid that can help us to put into the recommendation that you are able, you have some difficulties, but you are able. Yeah, and I think back on your questions, whether we say that you don't call us. No, I think that is not true, Mr. Kong. Maybe you because you go and see hundreds or thousands of bankers, yeah, because we wanted to help the community. That is our task. Okay? We wanted to help the community. As I mentioned just now, we need the SME as the government, as the employees need the SMEs. Yeah, you contributed the biggest chunk of the employment of the country. Yeah, so we want to engage you. We want to communicate with you. Yeah, so at our level best, we try to make things easy so that you are able to be assisted. Yeah, but my message, my request is, please, we want to see as many SMEs as possible come forward to the bank, yeah, to submit the application. If you don't have a good bank statement, maybe you can bring whatever documents that I have shared just now. Thank you, Mr. Kong.
Yeah, you talking about the go forward to the SMB, asking for the documentation, maybe the standard documentation. I would like my another two panelists to add something about standard documentations. If you ask for 6-month bank statement, definitely the 6-month bank statement will not show any good sign, because during the MCO or all those things. You have anything to add in respect of documentations from your side? Anything?
Maybe I just add a little bit. I think the intention of getting the document, I think it's quite obvious. I think that we still need to establish the repayment capacity of that particular borrower. And I'm sure we will not have a cookie cutter that fits every type of customer. But I think generally, like what Andy has mentioned just now, if you have your latest financial report, that'll be the best. But if you don't have, I think the bank has developed a way that based on your bank statement, we will be able to gauge what will your repayment capacity going to be. Let me just address the question that you raised just now. I don't think the SME will be able to show a very fantastic bank statement for the last few months. Every bank will have different way. For us RHB, we actually we will exclude those MCO months in order for us to derive a more accurate picture. So we will take pre-COVID-19 as a benchmark to gauge your repayment capacity.
Yeah, I think it's a very good answer from you. Especially you mentioned you commit to take the pre-COVID-19, because the last 6 months definitely all the businesses are affected by the COVID-19, Okay, just now Mr. Anand talked about the documentations to look at the you call it the owner, business owner, all those things, I would like to have 4 of our panelists over here. Is it documentations from the bank, is it standard, or you have some bank is very cumbersome for the businesses to fill up? See, any answer from 4 of you in respect of these documentations, for the ease of the businesses, especially now. You ask them to fill up the form, all those things, they are looking at the business much more than the form. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Kong. Coming from ADFIM, International Development Finance Institution, we are basically following more or less two main standard documents, which is the bank statements or even sales records for the past 6 months. With the figures that we have for the past 6 months, I mean during the period of this COVID, MCO, that is where we will be sitting down with the customer and try to project financial projections going forward for the company. And that is where we can derive the real financing commitment that the customer can sustain. So we need to have those set of documents. Plus, it is also important for the customer to give us the aging list, the creditors aging especially. Because apart from the financing commitment to the banks or financial institutions, we would like to also know, and the customer needs to be transparent with regards to any other financing commitments tied to the creditors or suppliers, so that as a whole, we can sit with the customer and structure financing commitment for them, not only to the banks, but to also the other creditors as well.
You are talking about, I think we would like to spend a little bit more time in this issue, quite interesting, you know. You are talking about creditor, you know. What about, I heard, because the member also complained that if you ask about creditor, you also ask about the aging. And then you also ask about whether any legal case against the customer creditors or not. Will you look at all these things? That means if my creditor sue me, that means my moratorium will be affected. Is that so? Yeah.
Okay. At the first cut, it may affect. But for the practice of SME Bank and probably some other DFIs with a different mandate, we will be looking and deep diving into each individual case of the legal case. If it is warranted to be basically considered as adverse, that will give adverse impact to the company, then there could be some setbacks with regards to repackaging their financing. But other than that, based on our experience so far that customers have received that we have received application from the customers, we are okay with regards to the creditors' petition, because we are of the view that the amount and the aggressivity of the case is manageable by the company itself.
Oh, that means now there's a signal to all the businesses out there. That means it's quite important to assess your aging, and then especially the creditor and debtors, any legal case in this respect, because the bank also perhaps will ask you to declare and look at this. Let's come back to just now, Mr. Anand also mentioned one thing about the owner. I talk about the owner of the businesses. Let's say a company, they are affected by the tourism, tourism, because they're badly affected. No matter how you ask them to repay your loan, next 3 months or so, unforeseeable to repay your loan. Then the particular owner, go and sell some other part-time job, all those things, Then maybe selling masks in order to compensate what he has lost during these few months, So will you consider, just now you mentioned, you look at the owner, will you consider the owner is doing some other business, maybe you bring it in to assess the capability of the extension? Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Koh, thank you. I think this is very, very interesting. From the calls that we made to the borrowers, there are a portion of the borrowers who is not able to answer us whether they are able to pay, they are able to continue their business, they are interested on the repayment assistance. So that means maybe they have ceased their business and they don't know what are they going to do moving forward. So my dear SMEs, please, we want you to come forward, talk to us. Of course, we are not the expert in the business, but we can advise you on the credit, what is next moving forward. So to answer you, Mr. Koh, if your business totally cease, for example, you do on-board tourism, or maybe you do transportation for the inbound, but for tourists from outside the countries. Yeah, but I noticed some of them, they have started doing some other business, especially a simple trading business to ensure survival. So this type of company, yeah, definitely we want to help you, because if we don't help you, yeah, if we don't give you the payment holiday, or if we totally wanted you to pay 80% or 90% of your payment, there is no way that you will survive. How will you survive? So that's why you need to come in with some of the owners' declaration, owners' wealth, yeah, and then we can assess you, and we hope, yeah, with maybe the assistance that we can give you is only pay interest, or maybe the negotiation can go. There is no limit on the negotiation. Mr. Yeah, you can pay the interest, or maybe you can also discuss to pay a portion of the interest. There's always a way out, I believe. As long as you come forward, you have to do something. Yeah, of course. If you totally stop, then how do we write in the book? Yeah, we cannot. Yeah, and then come forward and see us, and then we will engage you and we discuss with you, and we hope, yeah, we will find a win-win solution. Thank you.
I like the word you use, my dear SME. Perhaps outside the SME should respond, my dear banker. So all of this will comes to you and then solve all those problems. You hold your mic. You want to have something? Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Kong, can I add on? I mean, if the customer come to us for the payment assistance relief, if he's affected by tourism, I think I will get him a Bencana Tourism Fund first. That's launched by Bank Negara,
Well, the more we discuss, seems that there's not enough of time. You mentioned Bencana Tourism Fund. I would like to ask one question. Is it released now, today?
No, it's already started by all the participating banks. The limit is 300,000. That is to help to the tourism-affected industries, like, if you are a ticketing office, if you are operating in tourism area, or, if you're running a budget hotel that is related to tourism, you can come forth to the bank and get some assistance, So this is very good, Apart from that, I just want to echo one more thing is we urge all the SME customers that need help come to the bank, and because the bank, I believe major banks, they have many relief options. There are many. You can opt for, just servicing the interest, the profit. You can do a step-up prepayment. You can do a conversion, So there are many ways that we want to help the SME customers. So just come to us and talk to us, and we will get the payment relief assistance plan sorted out for you. And it's going to be very individual. There's no one plan to suit all, but at our level, we will want to, talk to you guys as many as we can. Thank you.
Okay, interesting. You talk about, let's divert a little bit. You talk about the Bencana tourism. So any tourism-related industry out there, please come forward to the bank. They will help you on this Bencana, apart from what we're talking about, is the extension of moratorium. What about the Bencana SME Fund PSF? Is it released now? Any answer from the panelists over here? The PSF, the Bencana SME Fund after the SRF exhausted, So any response from the banker over here? Yeah.
From Hong Leong side, we have started to want to release the fund starting this month. Yes.
So all the SME now have to start to, that means come forward for the application form, in respect of this Bencana fund, Okay, I think this issue is a wonderful issue. I think a lot of clarifications and clear the clouds to the SME in respect of this, There is another interesting issue forwarded to me, when these particular businesses, they contacted the bank in respect of all these whatever moratorium extensions, if maybe he mentions a lot to apply for all the fund, all those things, this banker respond in such a way. It's quite difficult to fulfill this requirement of all those things. They have one suggestion. What is a suggestion? It also shocked me, this suggestion. They say, why not do you have credit card? He say. The businessman answered, definitely, I got credit card. The credit card, why not you go and do a cash loan? That means you withdraw money from the credit card, and then to utilize in your business. I think this way is a lot of unfair to the business. I would like anyone from here to respond. You hold your mic very fast, from the RHB, so you must answer in full. You must answer in full to this.
Yeah. Maybe just let me understand the question again. So this particular SME went to a bank and asked for help to restructure the loan.
Yes.
And then the advice that he get is to do a cash out on his credit card. Okay, I can give you a very, very short answer. That, I think, in my opinion, it's a very, very unprofessional advice, and I'm sure some of my colleagues here will agree. I suppose there's some communication gap that us as a bank need to address as well. So I think a lot of work has been done over the last few weeks. Try to make sure that at every level in our organization, everyone are being communicated that the priority right now is to help SME to restructure their loan if they need help. I think that one is very, very clear. But I think this thing should not happen, and I will ensure that at least in my organization it will not happen, and we will provide the best advice to the customer who really need our help. So I think when you're confronted with this kind of situation, I think there actually are a few options. It's either you escalate this particular request to the line manager, or I think you're gonna tell everyone how to complain, right? Actually, I think that there's one department in Bank Negara that you actually get in touch with. Maybe you'll be sharing a little bit more. Yeah.
What about other panelists over here? In respect, just now, Mr. Yip mentions that unprofessional. We know it's unprofessional. You see, but the banker mentions to us this particular business to go and get this credit card loan. It's very easy. Just go to ATM and get a credit card loan without telling the interest rate is so high, in respect of this particular credit card loan. So other panelists, you have anything to add? If this customer do approach you, what is your advice? So any from you? So you want to advise something, SME Bank? Since you are the FI there,
I may not be able to advise them to go for cash out from the credit card because we don't offer credit card. But I agree with my colleagues. In a way, in credit, it is not prudent. Yeah, it's not prudent for you to get a higher financing, a higher loan interest to cover for what you are having right now. It is better if the company for the past 3 months was basically the promotion of special relief facility, and now, if I'm not mistaken, there is this new scheme under Government Guarantee Scheme, GGS. It is better for them to apply for the financing that is being supported by the government rather than going for that quick cash.
Now only I know SME bank don't offer credit card. That means I know this answer is not from your bank. From the rest of the banks. For you, a good guess. Perhaps if you have, just now Mr. Yip mentioned, perhaps if you have this sort of things that advise you feel that it's wrong, and then you can complain, Complaints to who? Complaints to our Bank Negara Malaysia over here. There is a Bank Negara Malaysia link, LINK link, then you can complain, You can complain as much as possible, state your name, state the banker's name, and then The panelist name over here also can be stated, no problem.
Don't do that too much lah.
Then you can complain to the bank negara what banker have done, and then what is the approach, then they can come forward, Apart from complaint, you must do a constructive as well, constructive move as well to discuss with the bank. If the bank really cannot help you, if you owe too many banks, you owe to all the 4 panelists here, you can also ask for the bank negara help in the SDRS, Small Debt Resolution Scheme, maybe announced to ask the AKPK to in charge. So you can ask. So bank negara is willing to help you, and then is here to help you if your banker don't help you. So I would like to go for another interesting issue. They say my business is not a big business, but they use I think it got property, maybe it's a property as a charge, So charge to the banker, and then to get the particular business loan. Then he approached the banker. I would like to have extensions of all this moratorium. Then the banker say, you can do that. If you do that, they call it protection insurance, MRTA, or Takaful's MRTT, The MRTA need to sign again the agreement, That means you need to go and fresh agreement, and then a fresh premium in respect of this. Then the businesses they say it's not fair. I got my existing MRTA still going on. How can, if I come forward for the moratorium, then you ask me to sign a fresh agreement again in respect of this MRTA? It will be increase my cost of doing business. So I would like the panelists here to respond to this one. Anyone of you to respond on in respect of this one? So, okay, Andy. Okay.
Okay, in regards to this matter, I think from generally from bank's perspective, if you have bought the MRTA or MRTT, when we onboard you on the financing part, so this MRTT or MRTA is paid one-off, and it will be there for the coverage of 10 to 30 years as per your requirements. So I don't think the customer required to resign any amendments, addition to the MRTA forms and whatever it is. So from the bank's perspective, that's not required, because when we onboarded you back then, the insurance coverage is already done up. You have paid the lump sum one-off premium, and that's it. So the term loan, the main term loan moratorium that you are experiencing, or the one that you are going to apply, it should not affect the MRTA or MRT.
Yeah, it's very good. That means you have explained well in the respect of this one. That means the particular member should contact your bank again after this webinar, to clarify this one. It will not increase of your cost of doing business. I would like to call another panelist to answer. Mr. Anand, you keep on nod your head and smile, and then please answer this one.
Okay, if I can explain a bit, Mr. Kong, the MRTA works according to the tenure. Yeah, so if your loan is 1 million for 20 years, so the MRTA is designed up to 20 years. So when we do restructuring or reschedule, or even the mora period 6 months, yeah. So your tenure will be extended from 20 years to 20 years and 6 months. And if we continue to extend, with all the repayment assistance, maybe it will be another 2 or 3 years, for example. So initially the loan is supposed to be completed in 20 years, but now it will be completed in 23 years. So the MRTT or PRTT or MRTA, it won't follow the 23 years because it is a term assurance, so it will end on the 20th year. Yeah, and how the MRTT or MRTA works, the coverage, when the product is designed, there's a schedule on the coverage. Yeah, for example, if anything bad happened to the sponsor, death or TPD, on the 5th year. So there's a system that estimated by the 5th year what will be the amount will be reimbursed to the bank to cover the insured. Yeah. So at this juncture, I think we need more cash for our survival. Yeah. Rather than spending additional money, yes, you can do a top up to pay the insurance for the extension of the 3 or 4 years period. But I think at this period, you have to decide what will be the best option for you to utilize the money. Yeah. And another thing, at the 20th year, maybe the loan amount will be much lower, yeah, as we compare to now. So I hope that gives you some idea, or the SMEs can understand what I'm trying to explain. Mr. Kong.
Okay, thanks a lot. That means you have both of you answered quite well in respect of this one. That means businesses will not will continue the existing MRTA, all those things, will not have a fresh agreement and then fresh premium again to increase the cost of doing business. From SME Bank, yeah, Karim, you want to answer something? Yeah.
Can I just add some interesting points?
Can you may? All the
to-
businesses want your answer. Yeah.
Okay. It is more or less similar to the MRTA and MRTT issue, yeah. But this is with regards to existing financing by SMEs, which are mostly being packaged together with guarantees by CGC and SJPP. Okay. Okay. If we are going to extend the financing that customer currently has by another 2 or 3 years, from SME Bank, we have already spoken with CGC and SJPP that they are also willing to extend the guarantee cover. Of course, with SJPP and CGC, it is an annual fee payment. But their willingness to basically enhance or increase the guarantee tenure is also good for the banking industry as a whole and for the SMEs. That's my point.
So all the businesses, you must remember this wonderful magic word, SJPP and this CGC, you know, to tell your banker. Perhaps if your credit officer do not know, you must, after this webinar educational program, then you should tell the banker. Since you are holding the mic, Karim, you know, just now you mentioned the other, that means just now, and then the issue number 2, just now, a lot scenario, you mentioned the projection cash flow. No? You need to have a projection cash flow. A lot of businesses now, they are actually their business badly affected, and then they don't have the times to do the projection. If you want the projection for the next 6 months or 12 months, perhaps it's quite difficult for them to prepare. Can you exempt it from these projections rather than other documentations?
We need to study the repayment or payment capability by the business towards the financing. So that is where what have been repeated by other colleagues, that is where we need them to come in and tell us what is the level of sales or revenue and the surplus cash that they have for the past 6 months and going forward. They sitting together between the bankers and the SMEs is very important for us to draw up the financial projection that can fit in the new repayment program or assistance that we want to do. So the key message is, yes, you may not be able to draw up your own cash flow projection, financial projection, but come in and talk to us and we'll basically guide you, and more or less we are partners, yeah. The SMEs and the bankers, we need each other. And for us to go through this uncertain period, that is where the more cooperation is needed now more than ever.
Wonderful. Today, this webinar, there's 2 magic words, you know, my dear SME, and then my partners, you know, all are partners. So you can even ask the banker to solve all these issues, you know, before it's too late. You know. Just now, you mentioned something, I missed out a point, comes to the issue just now. You mentioned about the, because the businesses, they're not disclose too much to you. Because if you disclose too much, you say you will mark them credit risk, you know, blacklist them, you know. But it's a secret to blacklist them or you blacklist them, you know. This one they are worried, you know. A lot of rumors there, they say, better don't tell the banker too much, you know. Other blacklist me, you know. So how do you look at this issue? Please, from the Adnan, Andy, anyone of you. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can make everybody answer.
Make everybody answer is good, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I think everybody remember or notice that our Bank Negara has given us a direction that any RNR, it won't be tagged. So what is tagging? So for a bank to see whether you have RNR or not, it will reflected in the secrets. So when it is not tagged, that means nobody will know whether you have a repayment assistant or not. Yeah, and I think as a banker, yeah, this time around, having a repayment assistance, yeah, it is not something bad, or it is not a credit history for any SME. That's my word. Yeah, because I think today many people need the repayment assistance. Yeah, so let's take the word that if you come in for the repayment assistance, even if you notice just now, Andy was telling us that you come for the RNA, we also want to give you the PTF. So that means that we will continue to assist you on the new lending. Thank you.
I would like to clarify, you mentioned the secrets. That means the secrets, you mentioned the word tag, you know. That means it would not appear at all in the secrets.
No, it won't.
So, okay, all the businesses out there, that means it would not appear. Even though this particular company have done the RNR, you know, it won't, you know. RNR is a restructuring and rescheduling. It's not the highway RNR where you rest, you know. Okay. Okay, and Andy, you want to add something over here?
Okay, perhaps I just want to add on, and the message to the ground, to the community is, this is the COVID-19, and one of the biggest thing the world is facing. The scale is larger than what we can think of. So I think it's okay. I think Bank Negara also give us a very clear direction that we have to help the SMEs at the bank level. So to the community out there, it's perfectly okay to come to the bank to do your payment relief assistance plan. It's perfectly all right. It's nothing wrong with that. And if you have foreseen that you already have cash flow issue, your revenue is affected, quickly come to the bank and get it sorted out. And I have to reinforce the message again. Your account, your company, will not tag anything in secrets. There's no blacklist. There's just a pure rumor, and your account is going to be okay. And when next time you want to expand again, the bank will welcome that. Yeah. Let's go through this together then.
That means the other credit agency also won't pick it up if my business go for these restructurings. So just now, I would like to emphasize again. Just now, what I mentioned is blacklist. They say blacklist by the particular bank, nothing to do with secrets now. Particular bank. What do you think about, Mr. Yip?
I'll go one step further. The answer is no. It will not affect your credit standing going forward with the bank. Yeah.
So, Abdul Karim, you got anything to add in respect of this one? Before we conclude our sessions, Yeah.
Okay. Under ADFIM, which is Development Finance Institution, we are mandated to assist. So, assist, the mandate given was different. But during these trying times, it is again, we are called to further develop and further assist the SMEs to go through this cycle. That one is a promise given by the president of ADFIM.
Yeah, it's good. Then I think all the panelists have answered all this scenario. Before I came for this webinar, I was wondering all this scenario whether you can tactfully answer all the businesses or not. Seems that you have answered. Anything you want to add? Because before we go for another issue or any other things, anything you want to add in respect of this one? because now it's about 50 minutes of our discussion. Nothing to add. So any things you want to emphasize and call upon the SME? So, okay, I think a lot of scenario just now, we have a 4 or 5 scenario over here. I think all the panelists have answered you, and then you may want to contact your banker, all those things. So thank you for the clarifications and advice by all the panelists over here, and I hope the SME will benefit from these sessions. This is not the last sessions or the ultimate sessions, because more will come. And then from all the discussions over here, I think there are 3 key takeaways today. There is number 1, the SME have to seek the bankers' help as early as possible, because since Prime Minister mentions I think the date start is the 7th of August, isn't it? 7th of August, I think 1 month up to 7th of September, I think it's quite crucial. During the 31st of August, this Merdeka, please don't travel. Sit down and do your projections, and then get all the bankers to you. Especially, you have to discuss all the options before 30th September, and then before it is too end. Yeah. And then the second takeaway is the bank over here, panelists, quite happy to listen to that committed to help the SME, especially those who really needed. Just now, apart from the moratorium extensions, or a lot of Bencana fund, they are willing to help, and then you please submit these applications in respect of extensions or in respect of a new Bencana fund to your banker. The third one, last but not least, I think there will be a minimum documentations, very minimum documentations. If just now we listen for Abdul Karim mentioned as well, if you don't have projections, there you can have some template for you, and then it's easy for you to do all these projections. You do not need to go for sole professionals to come up all these projections. And then the banker will make a fast decisions in respect of these applications, because they know that it's going to end in the end of next month. Finally, I would like to announce the bank also have agreed, especially the Bank Negara have agreed to have a SME clinic. This SME clinic, either you want a health check, not necessarily when you are sick, you go for a clinic, you have a health check in KL and then nationwide to help the SME to apply for this restructuring and rescheduling to help you in your business, especially those affected by the COVID-19. The upcoming one is this 22nd and 23rd of this month, August, at the Ipoh Stadium Intramulia. The second one is in this Putra World Trade Center, is 5th and 6th of September. So all the banker will be present there to receive the applications of the SME. You must bring all your documentations over there, face to face, discuss with the respective banker. If one bank give you a problem, you go for the next bank. Then you do not need to travel. Next to next. You go for this clinic, and then you must bring along all the important documents with you to meet the banker on this particular clinic. Bank will provide good advisor, as an advisories to you in respect of your case. So thanks a lot. Thank you for all the panelists over here, and then for your wonderful answer and response to all our members' scenario and issue. Once again, thank you for your attention in this webinar. I wish you all the best. Thank you.